testimony.
Thank you for the opportunity to provide input on SB1, a bill the ARC of Texas opposes. My name is Alex Cogan, and I am Manager of Public Policy and Advocacy at the ARC of Texas. As you're already aware, SB1 interferes with the ability of Texans with disabilities to participate in the democratic process. But I won't go into those details, as you've already heard them today and in two previous hearings. What I will say is that public confidence in our democratic system requires that all eligible voters have access to privately and independently cast their vote. But that public confidence is waning when bills like SB1 are fast-tracked through the process with little to no opportunity for the public, and most importantly, people with disabilities, to provide comments. Please also keep in mind that this testimony is a stand-in for in-person and virtual representation of people with disabilities. This hearing's short notice and the refusal to allow virtual testimony during a fourth wave of COVID-19 in Central Texas created barriers for many to safely speak today. Now, I know we can all agree that people with disabilities should be included in developing policy that directly impacts them. They deserve a seat at the table to share their stories. Not only has this process removed that table, but safe access to the room doesn't even exist. Chairman and committee members, democracy does not exist when you're only allowing certain people to access it. So on behalf of 3 million Texans with disabilities, we urge the committee to consider the detrimental impact this bill will have on maintaining a system of democracy. Before I finish, I'm wondering if Senator Hughes can provide some clarification. Can you share with the community where on the Senate website or in the hearing notice someone can find the email address to submit comments? And when would those comments need to be submitted, and will they be placed in public record?
So the email address, which I gave earlier, I'm happy to share again. And as far as the notice of the meeting, the notice for this meeting went out as soon as the special session convened, and I don't think there's been a question so far about that. The email is scstate.affairs@senate.texas.gov, and that information is provided to every member of the committee. We received some during the regular session, some during the first special session. And of course, as you know, to enter the hearing room in the Texas Senate, persons are tested, whether they're vaccinated or not. Folks are tested. Members of the committee and staff are tested. So we put protocols in place to make it as safe as possible for folks to participate who wish to. So thanks for letting me clarify that for you.
Yes, I have one question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ma'am, you referenced testimony by other witnesses and said you wouldn't repeat their testimony. By that, are we to assume that you, in effect, endorse the testimony of Mr. Bearden and Mr. Miller?
Absolutely, yes. And I also have testimony from Courtney Pugh, who was denied the right to testify virtually today, and she has some powerful things to say about how this would impact her ability to vote, which I will be providing with the committee.
You have written testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And while Ms. Coleman's getting set up, we're going to ask some more folks to come down front to be ready. That's going to be Lisa